fastest time on stage 6, and later gaan en Van der Merwe still in 7th. A consistent performance by the Pertic privateer. Leroy Poulter and Robert Paisley have said that all they want to do is finish the Swartland Rally. With the pace at the front of the pack as extreme as it currently is, it is so valuable to gain seat time. And as this was Poulter's first outing in the Castrol Toyota Auris, seat time is exactly what he needed. Poulter stayed true to his word and completed this loop of challenging stages in 8th position overall. With Enzo Keane already at the top of the leaderboard and setting the pace at the front of the field, it was up to Johnny Gemmell and Drew Starrock to dig deep in an effort to produce the speed that already saw him win 2 rallies this year. Gemmell already had problems on day 1, a misfire early on during day 2, and it was about to get even worse for the Castrol Toyota driver.
Fast right and fast left plus.
The Auris picked up a puncture with 18 kilometers of stage 5 still to go. Nearly 3 minutes were lost, and with it, probably the championship too.
This happened about halfway through. We got a punch on the left back.
On the stage before, Conrad Rotenbach and Peter Marsh managed to upset the apple cart when they blitzed the field with a comfortable stage win. Much of the same was expected on stages 5 and 6, but the Ford Fiesta was still struggling with power steering issues, preventing the young Zimbabwean from pushing any harder. He dropped from 2nd on the overall standings down to 4th, just 12 seconds behind Habig's 3rd position. Stages 5 and 6 not only changed the look of the leaderboard at the top, but also claimed a number of victims further down the field. Japie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton were running well inside the top 10 until a suspension component failed, halting the progress of the new Africa Developments Toyota Auris. Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin also failed to reach the end of stage 5 when they went off the road and into a pole, damaging more suspension bits on the Total Evolution Runnex. Whereas suspension proved to be the undoing of both Van Niekerk and Musa, it was the French-built Sadef gearboxes that caused both the Total Evolution Runnex of Fernando Rueda and Kobus Frey and the Pertic Toyota Auris of Visser Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman to retire from the Swartland Rally. It was a bitter pill to swallow for Rueda, who had just returned to rallying following a bout of pneumonia, as well as for Du Plessis, who was showing good form lately.
Enzo Keane takes a massive 37-second lead at the top of the leaderboard. Only 3 seconds separate teammates Hergen Fecken and Jan Habig in 2nd and 3rd respectively, while Rotenbach drops from 2nd to 4th. Charles Wilken is still hanging on to 5th, but with JP Damso in hot pursuit. Conrad Rotenbach is down in 4th, but still within reach of a podium position.
Car's much better now, it's going well. We're going well, we pushed quite hard the second time, don't think we could have gone much quicker, so now we just got to keep fighting. The next stage I think suits us better, we've got the short ratio, so hopefully we can make up some time there.
Hergen Fecken is currently 2nd, but has teammate Jan Habig breathing down his neck, and teammates or not, neither is willing to give an inch.
Yanni is 2 or 3 seconds behind me, so can't let him get in front. So there's still a dice going on.
Well, we'll see how it goes. You know, it's very easy to make a mistake and lose 10 or 20. So, you know, you just got to keep it right on the edge all the time.
Johnny Gemmell is seeing his championship aspirations slipping away.
It's getting harder, it seems. The first one we had that misfire, and then we had a punch on the next one in the long one, and I tried to drive, and we lost like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes there, so it wasn't good.
Whereas the situation looks hopeless for Gemmell, everything is falling into place for Enzo Keane, who doesn't need to win here, but still boasts with a massive lead.
The car's been running very well, and I think we've just had our focus on so hard and get out of the stage and really put together clean stages, and that's the result, you know.
Stage 7 is the last gravel stage in the Swartland before the teams will return to Cape Town. Langewens is a repeat of stage 4 from earlier in the day, but run in the opposite direction, so the roads will be somewhat familiar and the last real opportunity to make a move.
At this late stage of the event, a few scores still have to be settled. The fight for 5th place is between Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich and JP Damso and Callan Swan. The Basil Reed Bizzup Ford Fiesta has a 1.2 second advantage over the Total Evolution Runnex, and on stage 7, Wilken extends his lead, but only by 1 single second. Conrad Rautenbach and Peter Marsh had plans to overtake Jan Habig and Douglas Judd for the final podium position. But Habig had other plans. The BP Ultimate Polo set the second fastest time of all in stage 7 to not only open up the gap between itself and the Ford of Rautenbach, but to also overhaul teammates Hergen Fecken and Pierre Aries to move into second position. It is exactly what Fecken did not want, and to make matters even worse, he now had the Ford of Rautenbach also breathing down his tailpipes, just 10 seconds back, and with very few stage kilometers to go. While Habig and Fecken and Rautenbach were fighting for the remaining podium positions, Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson continued their devastating form, taking their third successive and fourth stage win of the event. Instead of consolidating his lead, Keen extended it to over 40 seconds with just 2 short stages to go. The Cape Townian was unstoppable, forcing the opposition to wonder where his incredible speed was coming from.
Long left 3. Long left 3.
The 2010 Swartland Rally is drawing to a close, and the Dirt Road Warriors are jockeying for their final positions. Mokopane-based businessmen Tien Subert and Carl Peskin had a relatively conservative event according to their standards and completed a clean run to finish 12th overall behind the wheel of the Salom Group Polo. Wildman Jaco van Dijk and Des de Fortier brought their East 2000 Polo home in 11th overall after an eventful day that included a number of close calls, broken suspension and an overheating engine. Nicholas Ryan and Armand de Tooy were well inside the top 10 earlier, but a misfire every time the RCF Johnsway Polo saw water robbed them of valuable time and forced them to be content with 10th overall. Leroy Poulter's introduction to top flight S2000 rallying ended with a 9th placed finish. The Castrol Toyota driver listened to experienced navigator Robert Paisley and settled into a good rhythm to reach the end of his first ever event in the Premier class. Castrol Toyota teammates Johnny Gemmell and Drew Starrock had an event to forget. Bent steering arms, a misfire and a puncture all conspired against the once title hopeful. Gemmell won the penultimate stage, but it was too little too late and he was forced to settle for 8th. Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe's first visit to the Swartland Rally was an eventful one. The Pertec Auras had power steering problems, broke a shock absorber and had a close shave in stage 7. So Latergan was relieved to grab the points to come with 7th place. The fight for 5th between Charles Wilken and JP Damser was still raging on over the final few kilometers. Wilken had a slender advantage going into the penultimate stage, but the Basil Reed Bizzup Ford Fiesta had alternator problems. To make matters even worse, the windscreen was smashed, leaving Wilken almost blind for the final 2 stages. Damso was a tough competitor and put the hammer down to overall Wilken on the last gravel stage by a full 14 seconds, and that to take over 5th position in the Total Evolution Run X. The battle resumed on the tarmac of the Killarney Racing Circuit, and although Wilken threw caution to the wind to win the final stage overall, it wasn't enough as Damso emerged victorious from this battle.
S2000 machines were occupying the top 12 spots at the end of the Swartland Rally, leaving the rest of the field the opportunity to battle for lucky number 13.
This position belonged to the Nathan Motors Mitsubishi Lancer of Mike Nathan and Etienne Lawrence, who survived the Swartland to record a strong finish and a Class N4 production car victory to go with it. Class A7 self-destructed on day 1, which opened up a gap for Class A6 veterans Craig Trott and Robbie Coetzee. The Total Evolution Toyota Runex of Trott not only won Class A6, but also finished 14th overall and took the prize for the first front-wheel drive car home. Trott was initially challenged by Class A6 newcomers Ashley Hake Smith and Hilton Orfrey, but the youngster and Team React Toyota driver went off the road early on during day 2, bringing an end to his Class A6 debut. The brand new Volkswagen Polo Vivo, driven by Port Elizabeth youngster Morna Janssen van Rensburg and Derek Jacobs, claimed a Class A5 victory on its debut event. The car looked impressive and fast for such a small-engined machine and will hopefully be successful in drawing more youngsters to the sport. Class N3 was dominated once again by the sister and brother combination of Megan and Oliver Verlaque. It was Megan's 3rd class victory of the year and a great drive in which she outperformed Cape Town locals Abdul Rahman Amle and Yusuf Hanif and a similar runnings. Amley hit trouble on the last stage, handing second in class to the Link Africa Ford Fiesta of Robson Maganese and Sean Visser.
Only two relatively short stages remain in the 2010 Swartland Rally. The same stages that will answer a number of questions. Will Kuhn hang on to his massive lead? Will Fecken and Hobbig swap places, or will Rotenbach reach the podium? Stage 8 is a repeat of Stage 1 from the day before, while the final showdown will once again take place in front of a packed crowd on the black tar of the Killarney racing circuit.
The gap between Conrad Rotenbach and Peter Marsh in fourth and the final podium position currently occupied by Hergen Fecken was 11 seconds before the start of the penultimate stage. Rotenbach went flying into Stage 8, but the BP Ultimate Polo of Fecken and Aries already lost a position earlier and was not willing to give up another one. The Fiesta could not match Fecken's speed over the final few stages and had no option but to settle for fourth and the prize that goes for the first privateer. Besides fighting off Rotenbach, Fecken still had his sights set on the second position that he lost earlier to teammates Jan Habig and Douglas Judd. But there was nothing he could do as the veteran hands of Habig fought off the attack by setting almost identical times over the final two stages. With second and third already in the bag, Volkswagen was staring a dream result right in the face, and it was about to get even better for the Utenay team. Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson completed a masterful display of speed and driving skill with an emphatic victory of more than 40 seconds to make it a Volkswagen 1, 2 and 3.
A second consecutive victory and a dominant one for Enzo Kuhn that places him in command of the Sasol South African Rally Championship. Jan Habig takes second from Hergen Fecken by a mere 6 seconds, while Conrad Rotenbach misses out on the podium. Damso takes fifth ahead of Wilken, while Lateghan leads the factory Toyotas of Gemmel and Poulter. Ryan rounds off the top 10. Hergen Fecken was hoping for a second position rather than a third, but the outgoing champion had no choice.
We tried hard, and the 1-2-3 for the team was great.
It's only the second time in history that Volkswagen achieved a 1-2-3. This time with 6 times national champion Jan Habig right in the middle of it.
It was great. The cars went exceptionally well, no problems at all. Good rally. Douglas is on the notes all the time, so we're pretty chuffed with the result.
But the Swartland glory all goes to Enzo Kuhn, who dominated proceedings and now moves to within 4 points of clinching his second national title.
Yeah, it's great to win, but it's even better to win with a margin like that. We had a good event. It was, I think we stamped our authority on it, and we had a very strong day in the car, and absolutely nothing.